In the early hours of Tuesday morning, the serene Muang district of Phayao was engulfed in chaos as torrential rain transformed the calm Mae Ka Huai Khian stream into a ferocious flood. Residents awoke to the shocking sight of rising waters that swiftly inundated their homes and streets, compelling many to seek refuge on upper floors and rooftops. The heart-wrenching events unfolded in Mae Ka Huai Khian village, part of Tam and Mae Ka. The relentless rain had breached the stream's banks overnight, sending floodwaters surging to heights of 1 to 2 meters. Buildings that once stood firm were now submerged, their foundations obscured beneath the muddy deluge. Vehicles bobbed helplessly, resembling toys discarded by an unruly child. The University of Phayao, a vibrant hub of learning, was also caught in nature's fury. Dormitories that thrived with student life were silenced, their halls echoing the chaos of the flood. Many students found themselves scrambling to rooftops, leaving their belongings behind in waterlogged rooms. As dawn broke, the municipal office in Muang, Phayao sprang into action, coordinating with local authorities and rescue teams. Evacuation efforts commenced swiftly, with inflatable boats becoming vital lifelines navigating the transformed landscape. Amid the turmoil, volunteers emerged as everyday heroes, ferrying the elderly, children, and others to safety. Despite the grim circumstances, the spirit of the community shone brightly. Neighbors looked after one another, ensuring that no one, particularly the elderly and those with limited mobility, was left behind. Makeshift shelters filled with evacuees, and the air was alive with the hum of shared stories and reassurances. Local shops, some inundated, opened their doors to provide essential supplies, while social media buzzed with calls for help, prompting swift community responses. The University of Phayao, now eerily quiet, saw teams of volunteers and officials tirelessly checking dormitories to ensure all students were accounted for. As the day wore on, the floodwaters showed little sign of retreating. Engineers and environmental experts began assessing the potential damage to infrastructure and the long-term implications for the region. Yet, amid the technical discussions lay a simple, enduring truth. The resilience of Phayao's people mirrored the unrelenting waters. As rescue operations extended into the night and the following days, the story of the Muang district flood would be etched in memory not merely for the devastation it wrought, but for the remarkable human spirit that emerged in the face of adversity. From the rooftops of dormitories to makeshift shelters, tales of courage, compassion, and unity will resonate long after the waters have receded. In the aftermath of Typhoon Yagi, over 320,000 people in Myanmar are grappling with the devastating consequences of the storm. As the powerful system swept across the country, it claimed the lives of more than 100 individuals, although local reports suggest that the actual death toll could be significantly higher. Many remain unaccounted for, leaving families in anguish as they search for missing loved ones. In response to the unfolding crisis, volunteers flocked to the most affected areas over the weekend, where relentless floods and mudslides wreaked havoc. This catastrophe marks the worst flooding the nation has experienced, particularly in the capital city of Naypyidaw. Relief and medical teams have mobilized across the country, tirelessly working to evacuate residents to higher, safer ground. According to state media, over 65,000 homes have been destroyed, and the devastation is stark. Entire neighborhoods submerged underwater. Various dams have exceeded their capacity, exacerbating the situation. Approximately 200 relief camps have been established nationwide, sheltering nearly 240,000 displaced individuals. While waters have begun to recede in some areas, the suffering of those affected remains profound. In the chaotic aftermath, reports emerged of individuals accused of looting. Local villagers took matters into their own hands, apprehending the suspects and turning them over to the police. In an unusual move, the Myanmar army has reached out for aid, not only from within the country, but also from international sources, highlighting the severity of the crisis. Typhoon Yagi made landfall about a week ago and is expected to move away from Myanmar in the coming days. This storm, one of Asia's most powerful this year, caused widespread destruction across Vietnam, Laos, China, and the Philippines before being downgraded to a tropical depression. However, its remnants continue to bring deadly flooding and landslides, underscoring the ongoing challenges faced by communities across the region as they begin to rebuild and recover. At least 13 people have lost their lives following the impact of Tropical Storm Yagi in the Philippines, according to local officials. The storm made landfall on Luzon Island, unleashing heavy rainfall for 2 consecutive days, which resulted in widespread flooding and landslides across the country. Prior to this, Yagi had swept through the Bicol region, southeast of the capital, Manila. The Philippine Weather Agency has warned that the storm could bring even more rain, increasing the risk of further flooding and landslides in various areas. In response, many schools and government offices in Manila have closed, and transportation services in some regions have been halted, leading to the cancellation of a total of 29 domestic flights. By the afternoon of September 2nd, Yagi had reached Taguig in Manila, packing winds of up to 85 kilometers per hour. The storm also generated strong currents and high waves in Manila Bay, causing a barge and an oil tanker to be thrown onto the seawall. Maritime operations were severely disrupted, leaving 739 passengers stranded at various ports. In total, 22 ships, from motorized boats, and 200 aid to cargo vessels were unable to depart due to dangerous weather conditions. In some areas, floodwaters rose to half the height of houses, while in others, the water reached the roofs. From around 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., the water level continued to rise, but began to recede as the rain diminished. However, swift currents remained perilous in our neighborhood, with some residents trapped and desperately seeking ways to escape. The community is now facing numerous challenges in the aftermath of this devastating storm,